श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्भूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजं। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्ते पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकदातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं चैव ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। Namaste everyone. Last week we were looking at what happened to Kuru princess, right? So Bhishma got Ambika, Ambalika from Kashi Swayamvara, and then we learned what happened after that. Anyone remembers what happened? Raghav, I know you remember. Anyone else? Anyone attended last week's session or looked at YouTube? Okay, I have to go to Raghav then, or his sister. Okay. Sorry, I forgot your name.
Kaumudi.
Yes.
So last Friday, what happened was when Bhishma, when Bhishma married,
he didn't marry.
No, not Bhishma, sorry, but Shantanu, he married Satyavati. They
I was before. I'll just say instead. So when
then they both had two kids.
So what happened was, firstly, since Chitrakanta died in a battle, Vichitravirya had to marry as he was the only heir. And so he had to get married, and Bhishma decided that the daughters of the king of Kashi would be suitable. He said it would be good. So he chose Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. He went to the Swayamvar declaring that he is here in place of Vichitravirya, and then he could basically took all the three princesses. All the kings got very angry and they changed into their battle armor and then decided to fight against him. All of them died, what got killed except for Shalya, who escaped. Once hearing that, once they arrived at Hastinapur, Amba said that she didn't know how to say it, so she said that she already before marrying, once they arrived, she didn't know how to say it, so she told Satyavati that she wanted to marry Shalya instead. Satyavati told that to Bhishma, and then after that, Shalya, so Bhishma lets Amba go. The remaining two sisters, Ambika and Ambalika, are married to Vichitravirya. They're happy to do it. And then after that, Vichitravirya dies. So leaving no heir. So Satyavati tells Bhishma that he has to marry, or else the line will
become king.
And become king. he has to marry, as if he doesn't, the line will end. Bhishma said he won't. Instead, what he will do is, instead of marrying, he will basically, instead of marrying, he told them the story of how, after all the Kshatriya princes got killed by Parashurama, how, then he told us one of the stories on how he told the story, like how Parashurama killed all the Kshatriyas and how they tried to go to the Brahmins, and then the woman, all the Kshatriya women went to the Brahmin to like basically continue the line. He told us that story. Then we have to do the second story today.
Yes, that's the first story. Very good, Raghav. Thank you. So Bhishma took 3 princes from Kashi. Okay, he defeated all the kings and princes who came to battle with him, and then when he defeated all of them, Shalya came, and then Shalya also got defeated. So as you said, Amba wasn't willing to marry Vichitravirya. Ambika Ambalika did. They married, and unfortunately, like Chitrangada was killed. His brother Chitrangada was initially killed by a Gandharva, and Vichitravirya dies of illness. Okay, so both of them die, and then, as you said, Bhishma suggests a way out, how to continue the dynasty, how to continue the line. Okay, so he says there are ways allowed in these Shastras, in the scriptures, which can allow the dynasty to continue. And the one example he gives, as I said, is when Parashurama exterminated entire Kshatriya race, all the men got killed. All the Kshatriya women went to Brahmanas, and through Brahmanas they had children, and through that Kshatriya race restarted again. So then Bhishma continues with another story. He gives another example. Again, the importance is, if you are saying something, you have to say, giving some examples what happened before, and the valid references makes your case strong. Okay, that's what Bhishma trying to do here. So first he narrates what happened after Parashurama exterminated all the Kshatriyas. Then the second story, he starts about Dirghatamas. Okay, Dirghatamas. So here the story starts with Brihaspati's brother Utatya. Okay, Brihaspati is Deva Guru, a guru of all the deities. Okay, and Brihaspati's brother is Utatya. Utatya's wife is Mamata. Mamata was pregnant, and at that time Brihaspati curses that child in the stomach that he will be born blind. He will be born blind. Okay, there is a story on why Brihaspati curses, and we will probably look at that sometime later. Okay, so the child was born as blind, but even though he was blind, he succeeded in learning all the Vedas and acquiring all complete knowledge, and he was living a good life, okay, virtuous life. And then he also managed to find when he come to age, he managed to find a handsome, good-looking Brahmin girl called Pradveshi.
Yeah.
So they married. They together they had children, and out of them Gautama was the eldest, and there were many other children as well. So after some time, Dirghatamas, he started practicing the rituals and things which is not as per the scriptures. Okay, he was doing different way of worship and things which is not recommended, and also he was focusing on a lot of other things, on religious things and things. He was not focusing much on his wife. Okay, and his wife got angry, upset with him. Okay, she gradually lost interest in him. Already he's blind, she need to take care of him, and then he is also not looking after her or talking nicely or anything, so she lost interest. One day she says she is going to leave him. I'm tired of you. I'm going to leave you. Okay. So this is the first case of divorce in our scriptures. So she decides to leave, and then she says that husband is supposed to protect wife. That's why he is called Pati, and also he is supposed to look after, okay, her, and that's why it's called Bhatri. So, but you can't do either of them. You can't look after me. You're blind, and you can't protect me. If something happens to me, you can't protect as well. So, what is the point of having you as husband? She makes her case, and then Dirghatamas gets very angry. Till that time, women had right to leave husband. Okay, if husband, whatever it is, if they are not happy, they could have gone to another man. Okay, but Dirghatamas here makes a rule and curses that all women from that point onwards, they must, whether the husband is dead or alive, they should not go to another man. Okay, so he makes that rule and curses them, and then still with that curse, when his wife hears that curse, she becomes even more angrier. I was about to leave, and then he's getting angry and he's cursing me. She gets even angry. She asks her children to tie him, okay, in the rope, and then they throw him in the river. Dirghatamas now tied, hands, everything tied, floating in the river. Okay, so he was floating like that, and then he comes across King Bali. Okay, he comes across a king called Bali, and then that Bali pulls him to the bank, river bank, and then asks him, "Who are you?" And Dirghatamas explains everything. I am Uttatya's son, and my wife left me like this, so I am here. And then king realizes that this Dirghatamas is very knowledgeable person, and then he says that I don't have children with my wife Sudeshna. The King Bali's wife's name is Sudeshna. Sudeshna, they did not have children, and then he requests that bless her to have children. Okay, and Sudeshna, when realizes that Rishi is blind, he can't see, what she does is she sends a maid instead. Instead of going to take that blessing from the Rishi, she sends a maid, and that maid gets blessed with 11 children. Okay, they were all of good character and strong. They were blessed with 11 children, and then king asks, "Are these my children?" Rishi says, "No, your wife sent a maid." And then king again asks his wife Sudeshna that seek blessing from this Rishi, and Dirghatamas, by simply touching her, blesses her with 5 children. Okay, all the 5 children are of very strong, with a lot of strength, and they become famous kings. Okay, they are called Anga, Vanga, Kalinga, Pundra, and Sushma. All of them become their own kingdoms. Future in Mahabharata, you will see that king of Anga, because their place itself, kingdom itself, called after them. So there is a kingdom started as Anga, Vanga, Kalinga, Pundra. So they will have their own regions. Okay, so Bhishma explains that that's how King Bali's line was extended. When he did not have children, a Brahmana Rishi blessed him. So with this, Bhishma now tells 2 stories, and he says that it is okay, it is possible to continue the line through a Brahmana's blessing if there is no other way. Okay, that is one way to have children. And then at that time, just to be clear, this rule, having children through a Brahmana, is called Niyoga. Okay, the rule is called Niyoga, but that rule is not allowed in Kali Yuga. Okay, so in this age, that is not allowed. So Niyoga rule is not allowed in Kali Yuga because people will misuse. Okay, people in Kali Yuga are of not good conduct. People will misuse. That's why it is not allowed. Okay, so after Bhishma explaining this, asks Satyavati to decide what should be done. Okay, what do you want to do now? So there is a way, but what do you want to do? At that time, Satyavati, she narrates her previous story. Okay, Satyavati, if you remember, had a son before her marriage to Shantanu. Through Parashara, Rishi Parashara, she had a son before marriage, and that son is called Krishna Dvaipayana. And that Krishna Dvaipayana came to known as Vyasa because he divided the Veda into 4 Vedas. Okay, and that Vyasa, who was born as a 7-year-old, when he was born, he was already looking like a 7-year-old boy and fully learned now with all the knowledge of all the Vedas and everything. That Vyasa, when he leaves his mother, he told her, if you remember, he told her that whenever you need me, just remember me. And Satyavati explains about that Rishi, Vyasa, and then she says Vyasa is the right person to continue our dynasty. So she remembers Vyasa. Immediately, Vyasa arrives, okay, and asks her what should he do. And then Satyavati explains everything. She says that I married Shantanu and then I had 2 children, Chitrangada. Chitrangada became king, but unfortunately he got killed in a battle. Then I also had another son called Vichitravirya. He married Ambika and Ambalika, but unfortunately before having children, he also died. Now we don't have any children. So she instructs, okay, that to Vyasa that Vyasa should bless Ambika and Ambalika with children. And Vyasa agrees, but he says that because I'm doing this penance for many, many years, I am so ugly, my hair has grown, facial hair, everything has grown, head hair, I got a long hair and look very ugly. I'm very scary as well because of the energy and power, penance, everything I have, look very scary. You have to inform those princesses that they should be very careful. Okay. And Satyavati says, okay. And she first goes to Ambika. And Vyasa says, I will come back in a year's time. And then in a year's time, Satyavati informs Ambika that Vyasa is coming, seek his blessings. Okay. So Vyasa comes and Ambika was in her chamber. Vyasa goes there. And then once Vyasa was in there and Ambika goes there. And when she sees this Vyasa of terrible looking Vyasa, who is long hair and red face and looking at like that, grim beard, copper color, it says here, like, so she got scared. When she looked at him, she closed her eyes. She could not see him. She closed her eyes and Vyasa leaves that place. And then when he comes out, Satyavati asks about what happened. And Vyasa explains that because the girl, the princess closed her eyes, the son will be born who will be of great strength. He will have strength of 1,000 elephants. He will have great knowledge, intelligence, energy, everything, but he will be blind. Okay. So that's how the first son was born. Okay. First son was born and he was named as Dhritarashtra. Okay. Dhritarashtra was born of Ambika because Ambika closed her eyes when Vyasa was blessing. So the blind son was born. Okay. After some time, Ambika gives birth to this blind son. And then Satyavati asks Vyasa, bless my other princess so that she can have. Vyasa says, I will come back in some time. And then Vyasa goes away. Then the second, Ambalika. Okay. So Satyavati again prepares her second daughter-in-law, Ambalika. And then Vyasa comes and Ambalika did not close because Satyavati told her, don't close your eyes. She was staring like this, but she was so scared, started shivering. Okay. She turned pale and she started shivering. And then Vyasa comes out again to Satyavati and then says that the son again, will be of weak body. Okay. He will be of weak body, and because she turned pale color, he will be called Pandu. Pandu means pale. Okay. And Satyavati again says, we can't have a blind prince becoming king, Dhritarashtra, or somebody who is not fit, okay, strong and fit, becoming a king. So Pandu also cannot become king. So she asked Vyasa again, I need one more blessing, one more child. And then this time, Vyasa again says agrees, and then he goes away. And then in time, Ambalika gives birth to a son who is of beautiful, every good character, but he is very weak. Okay, he's not strong. So Pandu was born like that. Okay, so we have two sons, Ambika giving birth to Dhritarashtra, Ambalika giving birth to Pandu. Okay, then third time, Vyasa again returns. Okay, this time Satyavati again asks her eldest daughter-in-law, Ambika, saying that be careful, this time don't do any silly mistakes, take the blessing of Vyasa. And then Vyasa arrives, and then Ambika remembers what happened previously, that scary face where she got so scared she had to close her eyes. She says, she thinks, I'm not going anymore to this man. I'm not going to see this person anymore. He looks so horrible. He looks so scary. And she sends her maid. Okay. And that maid, when she goes, she worships Vyasa respectfully and then takes a seat. And then Vyasa, when he was about to leave, he informs her that she will no longer be a maid, and the child that's going to be born will be of great, fortunate, virtuous, and also intelligent man. He is going to be the most intelligent man on earth. Okay, he will know everything, even though he is born in Shudra wife, okay, Shudra mother, Shudra, he will still have the complete knowledge of all the scriptures and everything, and he will be virtuous. Okay, so Vyasa informs his mother Satyavati about everything happened, and he disappears. Okay, then after some time, the maid gives birth to a son called Vidura. With this, Vidura was free from all the desires, passion, everything, and he was, as I said, conversant with all the rules of everything. Okay, rules of government, the Shastras, everything. He was knowledgeable, and he was the god of justice, Dharma, Yamaraja himself born. Okay, because of the curse of the Rishi Mandavya. So Rishi Mandavya cursed Yama, Dharmaraja, that he has to take birth on earth, and that's why he was born, and he was born as Vidura. So that's what Vaishampayana explains what all happened, how three sons were born. One, Dhritarashtra of Ambika, Pandu of Ambalika, and Vidura of maid, from the maid. Okay, and Vidura, Dhritarashtra is blind, strong but blind. Pandu, good looking, everything is perfect, but he is weak. Vidura is fully knowledge, complete in knowledge, all the knowledge, virtuous, but he's born of a Shudra woman. Okay, so that's how the three sons were born. Okay, so then at that time, Vaishampayana narrating all this story, right? He's narrating to whom? Anyone?
The humans?
Sorry,
Humans?
who are the humans?
People living on Earth at that time?
No.
King Janamejaya.
Very good, Raghav. King Janamejaya. If you remember, Mahabharata was narrated at King Janamajaya's Sarpayajna, right? Snake sacrifice. After the snake sacrifice, Vaishampayana started narrating, right? So here, Vaishampayana narrates about the birth of Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. And he says that Vidura was born due to curse of Rishi Mandavya. Now what happens? What do you think will happen? Janamejaya sitting there and asks, why did Rishi Mandavya cursed Dharmaraja, Dharma, Yama? Why did he curse? Okay, that's what he asked. Then story slightly goes away, okay, from Pandavas, sorry, Dhritarashtra Pandu's birth, it goes away to Rishi Mandavya. Okay, so there was a Brahmana called Mandavya. He was very, again, he was a conversant with all the duties, devoted his duties, truth, asceticism. He was very good Brahmana. And he used to sit under a tree in front of his hermitage. And then he used to do meditation there. Okay. He used to stand, arms upraised, and he used to stand there and then observe vow of silence. Okay. So he used to stand there and he used to do that. One day, while he was observing vow of silence, that means he is not going to speak to anybody or respond to anybody. One day, there were a bunch of robbers who stole some goods, okay, and they were running in that direction. The soldiers who were chasing, the guards who were chasing them were also behind, following them. The robbers, what they did was, they came to this Rishi's Mandavya's asylum, his hut, and where they came, and then they asked Mandavya, they looked at Mandavya, he was deep meditation, okay, and they thought we can hide in this hut. They goes inside that hut and hide in that hut, his Rishi's house, okay. The guards come there and they ask Mandavya, did you see anyone running here? Okay, Mandavya was deep meditation, not speaking to anybody and not responding to anybody. Okay, he just standing there. These guards then start searching because they knew that the guards, the robbers came somewhere around there. So they started searching. They go inside and they catch the robbers. And then they think that this Brahmana helped those robbers to hide in his house. Okay, so what they do is they also take this Brahmana, Mandavya, along with the robbers to the king. And they explain everything to king. We went there, asked this man. He did not say yes or no. He was just standing there. And we went inside and found these robbers with all the goods. Please punish them. And then king says that because these people stole things, I'm going to put them on, they will be punished to death, okay, by piercing them with a sharp shaft, okay, sharp, okay, shaft. They are going to be pierced and then they will be, the punishment is death punishment, okay. So that happens. The robbers and the Brahmana were pierced in a shaft and then they were hanging, okay, like that. After 2-3 days, the king's soldiers go there to take out the bodies of the dead people and they notice that this Brahmana is still breathing. The robbers are died, but the Brahmana is still breathing, and then they think something wrong has happened. This Brahmana is still not speaking. He's still in deep, looks like he's still in meditation, but he's still breathing. they realized that this is not an ordinary Brahmana, something wrong has happened. They went to king and informed. King immediately comes to this Brahmana, Mandavya, and asks for forgiveness. He realizes his mistake. Again, king here rushed in his decision making. Okay. Normally, kings are not allowed to punish the Brahmanas with death or anything like this. Okay. So the biggest punishment king can give to a Brahmana is asking them to leave their kingdom. That's the punishment they can give. Okay. So the king here realizes his mistake, and then he tries to remove that shaft from Mandavya's back. So the shaft was pierced through his back to his chest, and they tried to remove it, but they could not remove it. Okay. What they do is they just cut that shaft, just leaving a little bit on his back. Okay. The shaft was just still in his body. It is hanging out a little bit, and then the rest of the part they cut it. So because he had a shaft like that, stake in his body remaining, he was called, he became to be known as Ani Mandavya. Ani Mandavya means Mandavya with a little bit of stake in his body. Okay, so he came to be known as Ani Mandavya. And after some time, many years, the Rishi Mandavya survived like that, and then he died. When he died, he went to Yama came across him. Okay, Yama came across him, and then Mandavya asks him, why was I punished? What mistake, what sin did I do? And for what sin I was punished like that? And then Yama says that when you are a young little boy, you pierce the insect using a blade of grass. Okay. Children do this, right? Probably I did it because we were in village, and you might do as well when you are in the park or something, insects, ants, and everything. Okay. Killing them or hurting them. Okay. So Yama says that you pierced the insect. Okay. So so at that time, Mandavya says that if a children do any mistake, that is not a sin. If you have punished me for that sin, the severity of punishment is also disproportionate. You did a mistake. You did not act. You did not give me the justice properly. Okay. Mandavya says that children under 12 years, if they do any mistake, that is not a sin. Okay. So you all under 12 years, okay, under 12 years, you can all, anything that's done is considered not sin. Okay. Mandavya says, and also your punishment is severed. Okay. It is for piercing an insect, you pierced me in the back. Okay. So Mandavya says that because you did not act properly, you will be born on earth among Shudras. Okay. You will be born and among Shudras. And he also says that from now onwards, any child who does any mistake, commits any sin under the age of 14 will not be sinful. Okay, it will not be counted as a sin. So Mandavya makes that rule, and he also curses Dharma Yamaraja. Okay, so with that, because of that, Dharma takes birth as Vidura, the son of a maid. Okay, he was born in Shudra mother, through Shudra mother, but because he was Dharma, he knew everything, and he is well versed in all the scripture, shastras, everything. Okay, so that's the story of Mandavya. So again here, message is children under 12 years, 14 years, cannot commit any sin. But having said that, it is the responsibility of the parents to punish them if children do make any mistakes. Okay. Yama is not going to punish, but your parents can punish you. Okay. So that doesn't mean that tomorrow you start making all sort of mistakes, saying that it is not sin. your parents' responsibility is to punish you if you make mistakes till 14 years. After 14, it becomes a sin. Okay. So let's stop there and then look at what happens after that and then next week's session. Any questions on today's story? So we learned that how Dhritarashtra, Pandu, Vidura were born, and then how Dharma, Yama born as a son of maid, right, in Shudras. So those are the stories today. Yes, Pranil, what's the question?
Why did Mandavya not be able? Why did they not be able to remove the stake from Mandavya's body?
Because it was pierced in his body so deep, they were scared that by trying to take it out, they might kill him.
Okay.
Divya?
My name is Dhruti, but my mother's name is Divya.
Okay, what's the question?
So I actually do meditation. I go to different classes like meditation, and like on Tuesday I go dance, and like today I go like to story class.
Okay, any questions you have on today's stories? Okay, any other questions, anyone? Okay, who
No.
is going to narrate the story next week at the beginning of the session? Did you understand, everyone? Raghav is doing the honor every week. I know Raghav is going to raise the hand. Anyone else? I want somebody else next week. I'm going to pick a name next week, okay? Okay, question or Tulsi, or is it a hand raise for next week? Okay, in that case, we will close today's session if no other questions. Tulsi, any questions or? No? Okay. Okay. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.